Hi everyone, and welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making Hawaiian short ribs, and it's a one-pot meal, and it's really delicious, and it's quick to put together, and then it cooks in the oven on its own. So what you're going to need is 4 pounds of boneless beef short ribs. They look like this. If you can only find the beef with the bone in, I would double that because half of that is bone. So let's get started. We're going to salt and pepper both sides of the meat, and there's a really easy way to do this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Put the salt side down. You're going to put it in either butter or bacon fat. Now I don't have any bacon fat. I wish I did, because it is delicious when you cook these in bacon fat. So you just want to brown these. What you do is you just go over the tops of those while they're in the pan. So while we're browning that, you're going to prepare 2½ onions to make it easy, do 3, 1 red bell pepper, 2 carrots or more. Now on the vegetables, you can actually add as much or as little as you want. I usually do extra carrots because they are delicious in this recipe. And then we're going to need all that cut thinly, real thin slices. Let me check my meat. And while you're watching me, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really need to get our numbers up so that we can bring more content to you guys. Now here is how it's going to look when they're brown. You don't want to pull them up too easy or too quickly. You want them to brown, and just kind of move them a little bit to unstick them. And while we're cooking this, preheat your oven to 325. Now you don't want to cook these through, you just want to brown them. And you're going to do that on all sides. And this is probably the hardest part of the meal, so this is how you want it to look. Let me get one out for you. See this brown on here? That's what you want. Okay. We'll put another one in. Alright, so now I'm getting my last rib out. I'm just putting it to the side. And now we're going to add our carrots, onion, and bell pepper. We're going to saute these until they're soft. Now if you need more butter or bacon fat, you can add it at any time. Alright, get that going. Now, if you don't want your vegetables really soft, just kind of get, for lack of a better term, parboil. Get them a little bit soft, just a little bit, and then put it in the oven. I like mine to be super soft before I put it in the onion, because I just like to make sure that they're soft when it's done. Now this is going to cook for 2.5 hours, so they should be done. And this recipe is excellent to freeze. So if you want to make double or whatever and freeze it for another meal, it works out great. Just don't freeze it with the rice, because you serve this over rice. Right, I'm just going to let that cook a little bit and do its thing, and then we'll come back. Alright, now all of our vegetables are sauteed, and you want them to be soft, like that. Okay, so now we're going to add our ingredient. Well, we have to add our meat back first. So put this on top of your vegetables. It doesn't have to be perfect, just throw it in. And put all those juices that are on this plate back in there. Okay, it's down. Okay. Just kind of want it all laying flat. Okay, now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of honey. And feel free to double the liquids in this, because the sauce is excellent over rice. A cup of ketchup. A scant teaspoon of tarragon. I always put in my hand, roll them together to get those oils working. And then a teaspoon of basil. And a dash of Worcestershire. Okay, now we're going to mix this all together. Now pour in 1 cup of beef broth, or beef stock, whichever you have. Now throughout this cooking, about halfway through, we are going to mix, mix the meat a little bit, turn it over. And at that point, if it looks like you need more liquid, if it's really getting dry, add more beef broth. And you can add as much as you want. Just don't add so much that it, unless you're going to do all the liquids again, don't add too much, because it will water down your flavors. Okay, so now we're going to pour this over our meat. Okay, make sure all our meat's in. And that's exactly what you want it to look like. Just keep that over the meat. At this point, I'm not adding any more salt and pepper. You can do that when you go to eat it. I don't want it too salty, especially with the broth in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cover this really tightly with aluminum foil. And this aluminum foil is kind of thin, so I'm going to double it. Alright, and then just put that over your lid. Make sure it's really tight, because if it's not, all that liquid will come out. It'll just cook out. Okay. Now we're going to put this in the oven at 325 for 2.5 hours. Alright, so now our ribs are done. And that's what it looks like. It looks delicious. Let me get a spoon. Oh, just kind of stir it. It's delicious, you guys. The meat is just literally falling apart, see? So please try this, and if you do, let me know. And remember, Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.